Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. You know, I'm here doing my day job thing. Got to pay the bills, so we're here hard at work. Now, for years, the Dallas Cowboys have been getting grief. We all know that the Dallas Cowboys have been told how bad their decision making has been, that their GM stinks, that Jerry Jones needs to fire himself, and so on. Well, it's my argument that the Dallas Cowboys actually have a new GM, whether you realize it or not, and that is Stephen Jones. Now, Stephen Jones, don't get me wrong, Jerry Jones still makes a lot of decisions. I think, as Stephen Jones said yesterday, when it comes to Jason Garrett, that's actually a question for Jerry. But you can see, and I've said this for a while now, when we were talking about Dez Bryant, and everybody said, well, Jerry said Dez is going to be back. I said, pay attention to Stephen Jones. Because it was Stephen Jones who, whenever questions about Dez Bryant came up, his face would get kind of stone-faced. He would get this cold expression. And you kind of felt like there was something more there, and in fact, it was. Dez Bryant was gone. He had said to Ezekiel Elliott, that same year when he was talking about Dez Bryant having, meltdowns on the sidelines. It was like, we cannot have situations where you're not on the field as well. So it's Stephen Jones who's really that power of the Dallas Cowboys, and it's been growing and growing. And the days of when the Dallas Cowboys used to, be freewheeling like the oil man that Jerry Jones was in the draft. You think about trading up, a first and a second to get a Morris Claiborne. You think about trading 2 picks for Roy Williams or Joey Galloway, or signing the TOs, the big name players, the Greg Hardys and things. The Dallas Cowboys stopped doing that. And it started when Jerry wanted to draft Johnny Manziel. He wanted to get Johnny, and it was Stephen Jones who took the draft card away from him and said no. And we got Zach Martin, and thank God that we did. And so now, as we're going through and dealing with contracts, the Dallas Cowboys, like it or not, and whether you think the Cowboys should pay these guys who have earned it, like it or not, the days of where Jerry Jones would just write big checks to guys, the Alvin Harpers after having a great year, or the Terrence Williams. We've had the Marion Barbers, with big extensions and big contracts that put us in cap hell. And Stephen Jones is determined, listen, we're going to build. We're not going to go out here and spend a boatload of money on a free agent that's, time is going to be short in the NFL. We're going to find value, we're going to draft well, and we're not going to overpay our players. And as we look at it and see the models out there that work, you can look at the Washington Redskins that for every year they're out grabbing the big name free agents and things and never winning. You can see teams that have packaged up players and moved up in the draft and end up failing and basically setting their franchise back for years. We've seen teams that have gone through and overpaid players to the detriment of the rest of the team. Stephen Jones is being very methodical about every single move that they make. Yes, we re-signed DeMarcus Lawrence to a deal, but it's a team that after 3 years you can get out from under. When you think about Dez Bryant, when you think about Tony Romo's contract, even DeMarcus Lawrence, DeMarcus Ware, when those guys left, they left a lot of dead money in their wake that hamstrung us, that forced us to have to renegotiate contracts. Restructure contracts. There's a difference. Basically borrowing money now like a payday loan, because that's basically what it is. It's kicking money down the road, something you don't want to do except as a last resort. And if you're a team that you feel that you're close and you need a player right now, and you're not worried about the future, you're worried about right now making that run, that's when you make those kinds of moves. But Stephen Jones realizes that, listen, we got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl now. But if we can keep a core group of people and keep ourselves flexible, we can be like New England. And what New England has learned better than anybody else is don't overplay players. Let them get really good and let good players go. and get the compensatory picks. That way you end up like they did last year with 12 draft picks. On the other side of the fence, you just sit there and look at this and say, the Dallas Cowboys are a three-headed monster when it comes to offense. Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, and Zeke Elliott. The reason why it works is because it's three different things you have to stop. If you take one of those three parts away, that team is not as effective. Take Zeke away, as much as they're trying to sell you that how great Tony Pollard's looking, and I'm sure he's looking great, but I don't think he's looking Zeke Elliott great right now. I don't think he's ready to take over that load. Alfred Morris is a really good running back, twilight of his career. He's still not Zeke Elliott. So you know that Zeke Elliott is a difference maker. Dak Prescott, you know what? He may not be Aaron Rodgers, but the people buy into him. They believe in him. He's ice cold when the game is on the line, and he has that it factor. There's a lot of guys. Kirk Cousins is rated higher than Carson Wentz in the top 100, but he does not have that it factor. He does not instill that leadership ability that people realize, you know what, we're down. We're going to get this drive. We're going to score a touchdown. We're going to win the game. That it factor. So, yeah, his numbers might be better, but Dak's beat him 4 times out of 4. And Amari Cooper, out of number 1 wide receiver. This dog don't hunt. Together, they're getting close to being an unbeatable force. You take one of those away, it's not the same. And that's where you look at it and say, yeah, I need all 3 of you guys. All 3 of you, I need to be successful. But I can't overpay where it hamstrings me someplace else. And this is the dilemma for Stephen Jones. And this is the game that he's playing right now because he's trying to build a team. Make no mistake about it. He wants to win. He wants to win that Super Bowl in the worst way. And he is pounding the pavement, and you have to respect what he is trying to do. You may not like it if you're a player and you're not getting paid that max money, but you have to understand this is what he's trying to do to create that win, that unbeatable team, that group of guys that will challenge for not only this year, but the next year and going forward for winning Super Bowls. We've tried it the other way. We've had Jerry Jones being the maverick, the wheeler and dealer and things like that. And what we've watched everybody else, teams that were bottom dwellers, the New Orleans Saints, the Rams, the Eagles, the Giants twice, go through and win Super Bowls. And I say at least right now, you got to at least give Stephen Jones the benefit of the doubt of what he's been doing. In this time here, you got to look at it and say, we have won 3 out of 5 NFC East championships. We've got a damn good record for the last 3 years, second best in football. You've got one of the youngest teams in football. Now it's just a matter of can they put all of these pieces together and make that run. And if you do not think that this team has Super Bowl aspirations, if you do not believe that this team is, then you have not been paying attention. This team has been built to win right now. And I think a lot of that thanks has to go to Stephen Jones getting people in positions to succeed. From the Will McClays to the Chris Richards, getting, just getting all of those pieces together. And that's what your GM is supposed to be doing. And that's where I believe that Stephen Jones is the de facto GM. One thing he's got to do now is get that ring. Well, I've talked a whole lot here. I got these cabinets over here that need faces on them. And I got to finish getting this stair tread ready to go. And I got some tables and a laundry cabinet to build. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'm hoping that you guys are having a wonderful day. And just think, tomorrow night we get to see the Washington Redskins play. And then Saturday we see our Dallas Cowboys. I'll see you guys soon.